Just the sound of waves beating against the black rocks. just the sound of the waves beating against the black rocks. Just the sound of waves beating against the black rocks. All I wanted was silence. Maybe I could hear the echoes of the screams of those who used to be taken, sacrificing their bodies to the sea. All I wanted was silence, so I could mourn the strong who made the journey, names replaced by numbers until they landed in Brazil, Curacao, Virginia, or just the sound of waves beating against the black rocks.
Hey, Dameun, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for performing today. I was totally blown away. I know you haven't performed this piece very much, and we're honored to have it as a part of this showcase. Can you tell us a little bit about the piece? It's called Our Boat, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the development of
Sure.
Our Boat?
Sure. Thanks. So our boat sort of came to be after a trip that I took to Senegal back in January. Seems like a long time ago, 2020. I was going there to do some research on the sort of the water culture there, the culture of fishing that's existed there for generations, to work on a larger project that ties sort of the Senegal to my homeland of the Chesapeake Bay area in the Potomac River Valley, DC. And I wasn't expecting to write a piece like this, but just going there and the familiarity of the place for me just had such an impact on my music. I was inspired right away to just start writing as soon as I came back from the trip.
That's great. I mean, I can hear it. It's deeply personal, and knowing your work, you play with abstraction and surrealism a lot in your work. And I know we're living in a time of COVID and post George Floyd, and just, you know, with your body of work that's abstract and surrealist, like, can you talk about the roles that abstraction and surrealism might play in the times that we're living right now?
Yeah, when I think of, abstraction and surrealism in particular, I think about sort of rituals, and these planes that exist above the world that we live in. So if I think about this piece in particular, thinking about the connection between my family here, Black family here, and my ancestors that came over from Africa. I was trying to weave in sort of that layer of ancestors, and for me it was deeply personal, because I was going home, in a sense, to sort of erase the trauma that traveled over during the Middle Passage. They're going specifically to Gorée Island and the Door of No Return. I really, in the piece, in the center of the piece, there's the poem that really talks about the water and the island, and wanting to sort of be there and complete this process of healing. So when I think of like the surrealist elements, I'm like bringing in those ancestral memories and those ghosts into a real place, which is me now in the Twin Cities post George Floyd. Like what are the things and the connections that can help me heal, and therefore I can use that energy to help the community heal. So that's like that surrealist level for me, and this piece is really bringing those ancestors and those ghosts into the current reality, and using their energy, which they often give us anyway, but being really specific about my ask of them at this point.
That's incredible. I mean, I can hear it in the work. You know, there's the difference between abstraction and surrealism is that there's a little bit there, right? Like there's some realism in the piece, and what I hear over and over again is the things that I can make out is the line is waves hitting upon black rocks, like, and yeah, for me as a listener, I can bring my own experience to that, but you can feel the deeply personal part of all of that. And I mean, it extends this idea of healing, which brings me, you, Mally, and Adriana all together is really important in this time. And yeah, can you talk a little bit more about how music or art in general has helped you heal personally as a person?
Sure. I feel like music is something that I've used. I mean, maybe I can't even remember when I started using music as a healing, I guess, mechanism or practice. I grew up with music in my life from the very beginning. My mom was a singer, and music was a very much a part of our family like culture. But I really found it useful during my later high school years. It was really kind of a stressful time, and I think that's about the time I probably started to develop anxiety, or what I learned later was anxiety. And music was really the thing that helped me sort of get out of my head, which is kind of weird because sometimes you think that you're in your head when you're playing music, but in order to clear some of those negative thoughts that would be echoing in my head, like music really helped me with that. And particularly the saxophone, there was just so much freedom in playing a saxophone. I didn't need to plug it in. I could take it anywhere and go out and play. So that's when I really started using music itself as a self-healing sort of medicine for me. And in college, for sure, being a first-generation college student here in Minnesota and coming across the country, from DC, again, at the time thinking of the late 80s, early 90s, For me, growing up in Chocolate City, which was at the time for like 86 to 90% African American, and coming to Minnesota, which was almost the opposite as far as the population, it was a kind of a traumatic experience in itself. And I felt very lucky to be a music major and to actually have access to this building where I could go and just be at any time of the night and just play piano. And it really helped me through the anxiety that I had in college. And I don't really think that I would have survived that experience if it hadn't have been for music. So I really believe in the power of music to heal.
Thank you so much, Dameun, for
You would.
for performing today.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Feels good to be alive in these crazy times. Art is peace, it's power, it's love, and it's light. Thank you for joining me. And right now, here to celebrate the good times and the not so good times. We've been up, we've been down, but even in the midst of all of that, we can still celebrate. So let's do it. Who am I? Little guy, not known for losing. Got every non-believer screaming out they hallelujahs. I'm making art for the living, cause the dead can't do it. I wrapped a circle around these dummies, that's my revolution. We still bouncing, attitude is 1,000. Arteries drowning from hard liquor, hard lounging. Been catching flights all year, the rest is walking. I make the deaf wanna hear me out when I'm talking. I'm good money, all in, you ain't gotta count it. I'ma crash a really good party with no announcing. You gotta know I got a heart of gold. Take that, it can't be bought and it can't be sold. No cap, you know I come from a town where white, black, brown, there equals round here. You see the door, leave the crowns there. Money don't amount here, just dead faces. Black Lees, black Jordans with the red laces. Oh yes, I'm so blessed and I'm so good. I rock Nike sweats, I don't dress Hollywood. So refreshed since I had a couple minutes. Destiny that's promised and a pigment that's a threat. Oh yes, yeah, yeah. You should know my name is Black Moses. Yeah, yeah, the world is yours. Black Moses, Twin Cities, worldwide. Black Moses, yeah. It feels good to be alive, Still amazing, never really shiny on the neck. No tats, I show respect to all my flesh, can't love all y'all. Counterfeits, I just do this for the real ones. A couple fingers pointed out at George Wash, non-preacher. But they be feeling God features, need a Coliseum, 100,000 star reach. And I'm wishing death to every lie in this lifestyle. Catch me waving black flags throughout a white cloud. An old soul, a lot of women want it. Can make a heart split in two, call me the Black Moses. My 15 minutes, about an hour later. Go back, I want the world, but you can have the state. Oh, that, see me stroll through in slow-mo. I ain't shooting dope, though. I still say my amens, even if I don't go. I never cared to be their favorite rapper. I probably did on the last album, same book, a different chapter. Metaphors on the now, when before it's really working in this whole sound. Got you wanting more, I don't expect for the majority to nod, cause I'm unapologetically nappy and on my dialogue it's Moses. Yeah, yeah, everybody, what's my name? Black Moses, South Side, North Side, worldwide, everybody, Black Moses. Yeah, yeah, celebrate life and celebrate you, Black Moses. The world is yours, for sure. Yeah. And in a time of pain, in a time of trial and tribulation, it's time to heal. Let's get it. And if you're alive today, got a little bit of money in your pocket, got your loved ones, your life is all that. Yeah, 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 uh-huh. Yeah, it feels good. If you all at this your anthem, stand up, welcome to a new world. Go and put your hands up, searching for the truth now. Certified answers, a standout, feeling fly, 100 hands down. All my people sit high each and every single night. We want more than get by, everything is alright. We share the same air and I'm honored. Let's celebrate life to death, how ironic. My mother's only son, I be shining like this. The greatest sign that the eyes won't miss. There's an infinite space in my soul with a glow never ending cause time don't exist, yeah. It's obvious to see that I don't copy hype, they action, they cameras, they flashy, a lot of lights. And I'm grateful that you here for the show. And if you rockin' with me, I need to know you got love for soul. Life is free, take it slow, you got a right to breathe. And your life could be all that, all that, okay, all that. All that, take control, just believe. I'm rocking out nice with TPT. Everybody, you can do all that, okay, all that, okay, all that. I'm still driving down the block and got the system on crack. Hey, never going back, hey, living how they can. Hey, wasn't all expected, not a boy, you're so respected. Every blessing getting counted like $1 in a safe, right? I can't be them, I'm just him, just winning. All around the world, I just went. Still I'm eating in the days of a drought. Breathe easy, you could with my name out your mouth, yeah. Negatives to the big picture, crop them out. Can't complain, seats linked out. What we talking about? 86er, Midwestern with a lot of South. Got my hat to the front and move like I'm #1. Not another sucker shucking to another's drum. In my own lane, gotta do my own thing, yeah. And I'm grateful that you with me on this show. I need to know love for soul. Life is free, take it slow. You got a right to breathe. Everybody say all that, okay, all that. Yeah, all that, yeah, all that, take control, just believe. I want the world to shout with me, and your life could be all that, okay, all that, okay, all that, yeah, all that. Let this black man take a bow for this major sound, then bring the curtains down. No laying around, cause I'm really trying to make a pile, just to make it out. Making money never made me smile. All set, God bless, went from flawed to flawless. Neck piece swing heavy, can't keep them off that. Healed every heart crack with drops of them all back. My mind state is all black, all black, all black, all black. Everybody, all black, all black, all black. And I go by the name of Mally from Southside Minneapolis. And I like to pray. In these times, we have to reflect, to reconnect. Yeah. And sometimes it's time to pray. Can I walk like, talk like? Please forgive me for my off nights. Left shoulder fighting with the far right. Vein from here on, no comparison. I've been a one for a second. Third eye, got the foresight. I pray for all the likes in the world, diamonds and pearls, and wanna spend the night with a girl. Get some followers and that's love. Why? White blood, good as black blood. Matters like we had enough, then we stacking up to buy a Yeezy shirt that probably looks stabbed up. And the funny boots, are we humming truth? I woke up like this, that's another you. I've been praying since 22, and that's all. Every desire that I'm holding, got my hands hard. Treat you like a Santa Claus. Drop my spirit like $1 in a well. Salvation half off like a product on a shelf. If I'm idolized, greater sun, shine in my favor. Nobody got a prayer like mine, I'm so major. I need a bill to pay a bill, but I'm kneeled up at this pulpit, asking you for bull. I'm sitting low in my faux, run a Stevie on, so touching, asking, trying to figure why they don't love us. Take the cuffs off and reshackle. Kaepernick, he took a stand, but his knees crackled. We made the pyramids and live like kings, even queens with they pyramids. They trick you and scheme you with things. Necklace ring I need to prevent family. Once were slaves and bloody ornaments. Had to quote it like no one knows it. Stuffing prayers in a box has been overflowing. Just a note to say I came by. Until my name pop, I'll be here, same time, at the same spot. Amen. 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 Just want to send a big thank you out to everybody in the world. Positive vibes, positive energy. Most of all day, the confetti gon' fall. Got W's, need a couple more. The boy floating, parade with the stars. It's a celebration, round of applause. Get your hands up high enough to knock down a plane. Walk in all night, made it rain. It's one me and a whole lot of frauds. Celebration, round of applause for yourselves. Round of applause for your life. Round of applause, you got through it. Round of applause for the day. Yeah. I'm fresh out the gate with a brand new fade. Left tour shed, wait, couldn't recognize the face. Celebrating life, 100 candles in the cake. I done been so many places, a lot will never taste. Y'all can't relate when it's great. Hold up, my head filling up again. You running out of space, and why so many rappers hate? Them dudes steak on a plate, ain't nothing to say except grace. The powers in the necklace, the freshest. Lord have mercy, they've been plotting on my blessings. I focus on completion and not perfection. I gotta take them all at church, but the mass isn't who I break bread with. I'm halfway decent. Never seen a cell ducking blue lights and felt the long arm of a precinct. Wrap it up, cause the guy should remain. I had to walk before I fly the black birds out the cage. For those that never heard me before, I got them on standby, I'm about to take off. I told them I would shine from the door. I'm so down to earth, but I'm still touching stars because all day the confetti gon' fall. I got W's, but need a couple more. The boy floating, parade with the stars. It's a celebration, round of applause. Get your hands up high enough to knock down a plane. It's all night, made it rain. It's one me and a whole lot of frauds. Celebration, round of applause. God flow next to Christ on the cross. Heaven started splitting on the minute I was born. Drop jaws in the spectators talk, cause my Jesus ain't white, but my high tops are. A round of applause to your flaws. Every dream of a king's that we'd all get along till the paper's all right. I be feeling all wrong. I'm too real for scraps, got no chill for that. You know I gotta get it. They ones is riding with me. Confidently see us stopping through another city. Broads is thirsty to hit you with a lot of memory. But on the flip, you might forget them. Now they all offended. I never hold back, I let it go. Special, it's so for respect in the dough. This high, stress low, ball placed by the sun. Y'all set by the toes, been a thread in my zone. There forever, give a toast to the set. Why they say it's all love and got a hole in their chest from the projects? Nah, I'm so low key, just me. But keep a couple knots in the sweats. The PC bounce, got the format switching. Real soon, bet the line start clicking. Thank me later, it's all in the business. None of y'all welcome, doormats missing. Round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause. Hands up high enough to knock down a plane. Walk in, I love to see the rain. It's one me, whole lot of frauds. Celebration, round of applause. Yeah, yeah, round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Hi, Malik. How are you?
I'm good. What's good, bro?
Not much. We just got through this performance. I know before this whole thing started, this has been a bit of a process. We started off, a couple months ago talking about this performance. And I know right before that, you had a gigantic show at First Ave. And now you're here at Aria with no audience. So
three people.
There were 3 people. So can you talk a little bit about that experience and how each differs?
Yeah, it's funny. It felt almost kind of like playing one of those shows on a Monday night. There's, like poor attendance, nobody's there. It's you and the performers, 4 other people. And it's different because it's weird because even when you're a professional, you think that you can get through it. It's almost strange, like a glorified like sound check in a way, because but you still want to be tight and perfect, and versus playing in front of 1,200, 1,500 people. It is different because who are you gonna crowd control with? Do you do it with yourself or with the person who's holding the camera? Well, they can't do that because they're making sure footage is good. It's definitely different, but it is one of those things you have to adjust. Nobody saw this happening at this particular point in time, and if they did, I wasn't in the loop. So, but it's still good. It's for a good cause, good information, good message. I think that's the one thing to always kind of remind ourselves of. It could always even be much worse. We couldn't even be, it could be worse where we're not even doing this. We're not even interfacing. So just trying to find the positives in it, for me is dope. But yeah, it's definitely different. It's different playing in front of a room full of people because there's a whole lot of energy, new people, new faces. And then when there's a room in a space where there's hardly anybody, you're kind of like constantly searching for what are the things in the performance that keep me energized, or what's the message, or what are certain parts that I could feel myself rising up a little bit, and then what are the moments to bring it down. And in some cases, not overdoing it in a smaller room where there's little to no people, because then it might feel weird too to overperform and there's nobody there, versus when there is a big room and you got something to pull from and interact with more people. Versus this time, it's like just zero in, really pay attention to the words, and know that somebody will see the performance at some point. So I would say those are the 2 differences in comparison to like a 15-year anniversary with the current versus, a much dialed back performance for TPT today. So
That's the times that we're living in. I mean, we know as artists, especially you as a performer, like your thing is about bringing people together. It's that conviviality, right? Like, but what role can we play as artists now? What role, with all the constraints, what can we do? I mean, I know you're doing what you can do. Can you talk a little bit about, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about the development of the songs that you performed? I know it's a part of a newer album. Yes. Can you talk about how you created that? Yeah,
so the songs that I did, Black Moses, all of that, Praying Since 22, and Applause, to some degree all have like a very consistent thread or theme within them, is essentially like the celebration of self, the celebration of coming out of a dark period, and kind of like what is it like to go through harder times or new times, challenging times, and what is it like to walk through those, and what is it also like at the same time to come through those. So it's like a process of starting in a place, of finding this new version, or searching for this new version of who you are, and kind of working through that. So Black Moses is kind of like, if I had the right budget, the right, amount of money and time, that was kind of like, my like personal like superhero type of anthem almost. And the inspiration from it came from Isaac Hayes. He has an album called Black Moses, and it's a double disc or double album. And essentially the meaning of the album was about essentially Black men rising up and being themselves 100%, embracing their sexuality, their masculinity, their positivity, the things they brought in the world, because they're so used to being held down and held back in so many ways. And that album was a representation of essentially just Black masculinity in a lot of ways. So that particular song, Black Moses, was a huge part of that feeling, kind of like doing my own version of that in a song versus a whole album. And the rest of the songs just have an inner thread of positivity around them too. Like Applause is about the celebration of happiness and of self, and just kind of some like rap, braggadocio type of stuff. That's kind of what rap is about, having fun, the party, just being the best, or claiming to be one of the best, I should say. And then all that is about life, being grateful for the everyday experiences, the little things. The little things matter sometimes. The little things make up the bigger picture. Without all of us in this room, there would be no production. It takes many different pieces to make the whole. So I wanted that song to represent that. And then Francis 22 is definitely one of those songs where I'm asking the creator, God, whatever people identify with, but in my case, just the creator, of putting out some selfish ideologies, wants, needs, desires, things that I'm averting to or averting from, and just asking questions and just speaking from an honest place, whether it's around race or finances, politics, my own personal ego, other spiritual things, things of that nature, but really just wanting a place to speak from the heart and do it without worrying so much about the consequence or the outcome, but just being more in love with like the process, really tapping into the processes of things that got me to be able to even write that song. And it's a lot. There's definitely a lot. Strangely enough, before we started talking, we were talking about someone like Kanye West. Is like, I probably wouldn't vote for him necessarily, but I still appreciate what he's done as an artist and a musician, even what he's done in fashion, from shoes to some of the clothes. But that song kind of deals with that too. Just the duality, or sometimes the contradiction in things, where it's like, we might not like everything about something, but they're like still bits and pieces of things that we still connect to and are still connected to. So, yeah.
I think there's something deep with healing and liberation, right? Like, I mean, it seems like the person that's talking is you, right?
Yes.
But like, it's also a community of folk that you're talking to, right? That you want them to project themselves into yourself, right? So it's like this aspirational thing. And I think about that a lot in liberation, right? And it seems like your work in terms of healing, liberation is like, it's the aspirational, right? Or is it real? I mean, you have these moments where you have true freedom. Maybe not all of us do, but it's like, I hear that in your work. I guess I'm not really forming a question, but can you respond in that way to the idea of liberation and its connection to healing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, the one thing that I'm learning day by day, month by month, year by year, is being able to name stuff, like genuinely name things, and it's hard. Like, and to me, that's metaphorically and sometimes literally, like the idea of looking in the mirror is not always easy to do. We all have flaws and things that we bring to the table, issues, our pluses, our minuses. And even when we're going through great things, but especially when we're going through not so great times, whether it be personal or maybe it's familial or things of that nature, if something's ailing us or hurting us, I think it's good to be able to name things as clearly as possible. And if you don't know what it is, continue to search to try and figure out, what is it that is, what are you in pain over? What are the things that you're dealing with? And just really being able to tap into those things. I think once you're able to name something and you genuinely want to take the next step forward on that path, or figuring out what's the next step to like really heal from something and speak to it freely, I think that is one of the biggest parts to me of being liberated, is speaking from a place of being genuine. And once again, not worrying so much about the outcome, but just going through the process of talking about that, whether it's with music or with a beat or to another person or a therapist, whoever that is. Like there's different forms or different avenues of it. It isn't always, there's not a one size fits all for everybody. I mean, even sometimes going through the process of just recording a new song is helpful for me, because I could be having a terrible day. If I'm able to sit down and write something, the minute I'm done recording it and I connect with it, it's like a genuine high of like happiness of, oh, I actually at least started something's going somewhere. I'm starting a new piece of work. And just the happiness or the joy that someone may hear this one day and it might connect with somebody. Even if it doesn't, it's still something that I was just able to make and go through a certain process. Because you live 2 or 3 different times or 4 times when you make something. At least for me as an artist, it's like, especially if I'm making reflective pieces, I'm able to live through something again, but it's from a different perspective. So I think there is some liberation in that.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeking truth too, right? And it's like, if it's true for yourself, hopefully your audience can hear that. Well, thank you, Malik.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll talk soon, man.
All right, appreciate
I think you're released.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lady Midnight, and I come from a long line of matriarchs. In this song, I want to dedicate it to the feminine that exists in all of us. To my grandmother Priscilla, my mother Pamela, my sister Merla, Leah, Stephanie, Raquel, my tias, and to all of the women that exist in you. And when they ask you when it is that she works, when it is that she sacrifices, I want you to repeat with me. Every day, every day, every day, every we see you working hard for it, yeah. Hard for it, yeah. We see you working hard for it, yeah. Hard for it. We see you working hard. The power of your influence to correct the misgivings of 3 generations. Bang, girl. Ooh, show 'em work that thing, girl. Power to your nature. She don't need no favors. Offers on the table. Hey, yeah. Every day. She works every day. Every Come to me now, not too long. I'll bathe the body with your soul. Fall into waiting, fall into hoping I see you soon. Willing the moment I see you soon. If you burn in the fire, I will hold a seance for you, bring you back to me. Grow you in the soil, harvest in the moonlight, water you with memories. I'll replay your ways, I'll replay your ways, I'll replay the ways you were with me. And I'll choose the phrases from your better phases, bring you back to me. Don't slip the detail, can't stop the motion. I can't get over you. Oh no, no. Thinking on replay, stuck with the notion. I'm gonna bring you back to me. Fall on me now, but don't be long. Patiently waiting your return. But tell me, how can I fight 'em? How can I teach 'em when I'm still learning? Holding your freedom, calling you back because I'm still yearning. And then you came in the fire, flying like the phoenix for me. Show me you remember me. Left it in the soil, a stone for him to harvest. Living with a memory. I'll replay your ways. I'll replay your ways. I'll replay the ways you were with me. And I'll choose the phrases from your better phases, bring you back to me. Don't slip the detail, can't stop the motion. I can't get over you. I can't get over you. Thinking on replay, stuck with the notion. I'm gonna bring you back to me. Don't slip the detail, can't stop the motion. I can't get over you. I can't get over you. Thinking on replay, stuck with the notion. I'm gonna bring you back to me. Study what you built and your reasons. Study what you built and your reasons. I can't get over you. I can't get over you. Even when I'm all alone, I can hear your body. 5 fingers to my waist, I can hear your body longing. learn it first. Show me and I'll follow the lane. Ambition drives me to worship my temple like something holy. I worship my temple like I'm one and only. Inside rhythms, baby. This will never fly. We will never die. 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 Sanctify my feet, feet, my feet, my feet, my feet. Inside rhythms, baby. This will never fly. We will never die. 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 Oh, sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet. Oh, we will never die. 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 Sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet, sanctify my feet. Oh, we will never die. Oh, we will never die. Oh, we will never die. We will never, never, never die. We will never, never, never die.
Hi, Adriana.
Hi, Witt.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you for the performance and your band, an incredible setup and an incredible array of musicians. I'm like so honored that you guys could play today as a part of this performance. One of the things that brings us all together is a theme of healing. And I know a lot of your songs touch upon that, but can you talk a little bit about how healing plays a role in your music?
Yeah, I think like even the songs that I performed today, they really were ways for me to process things that I've been through in my life. Specifically the song 14, that song is about my sister who passed away a few years ago. And I know it kind of sounds like a love song if you don't know the backstory about it. But I think that in some ways, it's about being able to process something that is difficult to let go, and recognizing that you never truly heal from those things either. Like, you're just changed sometimes when you go through loss. And that can be difficult to know how to hold. So I think that my music makes it a little bit easier for me to hold. But I think I mean, it's great because we have a history of knowing each other and working. And one of the taglines that I has always stuck with me from the days that we worked together was art is a way to make unsafe ideas safe, and to be able to challenge those notions. And I've always kind of felt that, and I think the way that I create is in that spirit to just not be afraid to express the things that might be too difficult to put in words.
Mm-hmm. I totally feel that. I mean, You're a true artist. I mean, you're definitely a performer. That's like first and foremost. But I know the visual arts have played a role in your life and many other aspects. And like, can you talk about the label of artist versus all those other titles that you've had? I mean, like, do you hold it in a high regard? And
Yeah.
if so, how do you hold that title?
Yeah, because I don't really see it as like, I think when you say that you're an artist, sometimes it moves into a different realm where it's not like a craft or like a trade in any way. It's not like, it's almost like you're not for hire anymore of a specific duty or function. So I consider myself an artist because I think it gives me a lot more freedom to express myself in different ways, and it gives me permission to think in different mediums. Yeah, definitely figuring out how to envision or embody like a feeling or something that's not tangible and being able to like, I don't know, translate that into another way is really fun, and it's a great challenge, and that can happen like through movement, or it can happen through like the way that you dress, or like the music that you make, or really anything. And I think it's really freeing to be able to like not have these like rules of engagement that you have to abide by. An artist for me feels like it's allowing for anything to happen versus like photographer or musician or, you know, what have you. Sculptor.
Yeah, or youth worker. I mean,
Youth worker.
I met you as that. I knew you as an artist, but you also have worked with youth in so many different ways, and also kids that are going through transition and homelessness. I mean, have you seen the impact of art on their lives and like how art might play a role in healing in that way? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we both share that because it's kind of like, you know, it gives you so much energy to see somebody have an epiphany for the first time, and you like see it happening in their face where they're like, oh my God, I have this ability. Like, I didn't even know that I had this power before. And something is starting to change within them or like unlock. And that's just so rewarding. I think like the ways in which I know the impact has been made is randomly running into kids later on and having them tell me, you know, the paths that they've been on, whether or not it's been art, but recognizing how formative that experience was for them to just be heard and just have the ability to, I think, take risks, you know, in a way that like they weren't afraid to because they were supported. They weren't like afraid of being like bullied or outcasted for their ideas that maybe in other settings they would have been. And I mean, I've definitely run into kids where it's like, I don't know, I started like a photography camp when I was in college, and I remember giving one of the kids a camera and just saying like, you know, I hope you do something with this. And that kid was really not feeling great at the high school that he was at. So I was able to get him into like my old high school. And then they were able to then get accepted into college. And then that like helped them on this path, you know, where it was like their career. And I know that was like really, really important for that person to have that at that time. And I don't know, it's happened for me, you know, like I was one of those kids who just needed an opportunity. And it's crazy because I needed that when I was like in high school, and TPT, Don't Believe the Hype, was like that program for me.
Shout out Dan Bergen.
Shout out Dan Bergen, Robin, Maria, Aaron. Like, you know, I just needed somebody to, I think, support me in whatever I did and to sort of encourage me and see something within me. And that validation, even just a little bit, was like enough for me to, I think, give myself permission to try. So it's like incredible to be that person for somebody else. And you can't be it for all people, but like even one person then has this other like trickle like effect, you know, like they then are in contact with so many other people, and it really does like make a huge impact, one person.
For sure. I mean, I see that all that with the risk and the experiencing new things. I see that in your work. I mean, I've known of your work from Van Damme to, you know, where you're at now. I mean, what are the new things that are challenging to you? I've heard the evolution of your music. I mean, it's like gone from, you know, somewhat party. The party's still there, right? But like, I mean,
Always.
they're deeply personal now. I mean,
Yeah.
not that they weren't before, but can you talk about that and maybe how your music has evolved over time?
Yeah, because I started, like, I think publicly, professionally as the lead singer of Malamania, which also, you know, shout out to Lower Town Line because they did a special on that. And I felt like I really wanted to experiment with different sounds that was more of a folkloric, kind of historical representation of what that music was and is. And working with Van Damme, you know, working with these friends of mine from college, it was much more experimental. We definitely got into performance art, and that was a really great moment. And I think I needed that space and that time. Like, I just needed that time to become myself. I think I was so much within groups. And so the Lady Midnight project has felt more of like an experimentation or an evolution of me as an artist. And I think it ended up coming back to like working with people again. And so it's like this push and pull of like, you know, I'm done.
DJ
you know?
band,
Yeah,
DJ
band by myself, you know, like, and now I have this like really amazing group, and sometimes, you know, the players change within it, but it gives it new life every time. And that's been really great of a challenge. But, you know, of course, right now, like we're in the middle of the craziest moments in history, and having to create under those restrictions around like public, you know, health and even just safety is, you can look at it with the creative lens and think like, how can I take my expression to the next level? So I have been looking into film and seeing how I can incorporate film into my work as like a next level of presentation, specifically because it's difficult to perform in front of people right now.
I can't wait to see it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adriana, for coming to perform today. So psyched that you're a part of this showcase. And yeah, I know we'll be hanging out soon.
It is an honor. Yes, we will. Thank you.
Thanks.